Hi, Shalom, welcome. This is Bentzedek Ventura, and today I'm gonna continue to talk about the Title 4 of the Social Security Act, the so-called that enforces the so-called Child Protective Services. First of all, my disclaimer: I am not an attorney. I do not practice law. Never have. Never will. If you need legal advice, we do not give legal advice. Go seek yourself a competent attorney if you could find one. No pun intended. Now let's begin. These child protective services are all unconstitutional. They are not authorized by the Constitution. They do not have any jurisdiction to operate over you, the person, meaning they don't have personal jurisdiction, nor do they have subject matter jurisdiction, meaning over your offspring or the issue. Now, let me tell you something which many people don't know. These so-called courts are not courts. Like I said before, they are administrative tribunals. They are contractual by nature. Okay? The federal government reimburses the states every time that a child is kidnapped and adopted out. Okay, so what happened when you go to these so-called hearings, these so-called tribunals? What happened is you're sitting before somebody who is contracted with the same agency that you're going against, believe it or not. Why? Because they're not judges. According to Canon Law 2.2 for judges, it states that a judge cannot be in any case where his biasness is suspected. Okay, and also 28 USC 28 of the United States Code 455 states clearly that judge, justice, magistrate of that sort, they have to remove themselves from cases where their fairness is suspected. Okay, so judges cannot sit on these cases, and they have financial interest. Why? Because the state reimbursed money to the federal government reimburse money to the states, and then the judges get their pay from the state coffer, their pension, stuff like that. So they have a financial interest. Okay. Also, in the Supreme Court case of Tuner versus Ohio, it states the same thing. They have to remove themselves. So what they do, they use these magistrate hearing officers who are not judges. There are no judge in America since 1789, believe it or not. Go read your first Judiciary Act of 1789, which was signed by then first President George W. Washington. Okay, that's for another time. Now, what happened? These so-called administrators, magistrates who are acting like judges, they are under a contract under 45 CFR 302.34. They have these corporate agreements, which are contract. 45 CFR 303.75.2, 303.107, where they have contract with the state. So once they're working on the contract, they're in their private capacity, and they do not represent the government anymore. There are case laws that back that up. We have all of that. So they're violating your right and your unalienable right for you and your children. Now, under Article 3 of the United States Constitution is where we find the courts. And it's amazing, under Article 3, Section 2, it talks about law and equity. Okay, those are the two jurisdictions, law and equity. Interestingly, law is separate from equity. Why? What is equity? Equity have to do with contract, statutes, codes, and which one have to voluntarily agree to or sign into. Okay, law is different. Whenever the Constitution speaks about law, it's speaking about the common law. What is common law? Natural law. What is natural law? I injure you, I have to recompense, I have to pay reparation to you, etc. So that's common law, right? You don't commit murder, don't steal, don't rob, don't defraud. These are common law actions. Okay, what these demons do, they make hundreds, thousands of statutes, millions of statutes and codes. And the reason why they do this, because this is their way of getting more money out of the people, violating their right under these so-called bylaws, color of laws. They are not laws. And the more statute and codes they make, is the more people violate them, and it's the more people they find. So it's all a big scam. Another thing you must know, whenever CPS, the child pimp service, come to your house, you do not have to let them into your house. You don't even have to talk to them. Okay? A lot of people don't know that. This right is protected under the 4th Amendment of the United States Republic Constitution. Yes, it's a republic, meaning it's in a republic, rights are protected by a constitution, and it's a government by consent. In a democracy, democracy came from demo, the Latin word which means mob rule. This is a republic, okay? Under the 4th Amendment of this republic, it states clearly, I'm just paraphrasing, the right of the people to be secure in their papers, persons, houses, and effect shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, and the oath or affirmation, in particular, describing the paper, person, houses, and effect that need to be searched or seized. So they cannot just walk into your house without probable cause. The only time that they could do something is if they, what is known as an exigent circumstances. So exigent means emergency. For example, they look through the window, the officer or whosoever, and they see a child in immediate danger, their life is in danger, then they could act. And that's common sense. But apart from that, they have to go get a warrant, and they have to swear as to the authority in which they want to get that warrant, that what they're saying is true, right? You don't have to talk to them. You don't even have to open your door to them, okay? But the reason why people do it many times is because a lot of the people do not know their rights. You must know your rights, okay? These CPS, they are not courts. Number one, under the Constitution, there are two kind of courts. You have controversy over $20 and controversy which is below $20. Okay? It's very important to know the difference. You're guaranteed a trial by jury. Why? Whether it's so-called criminal or so-called civil, you're mandated to have a trial by jury. Nobody could deny you of that. That's your protected constitutional right. This derives from the Magna Carta, Article 52, where it states that by a trial by a jury of your peers. What is your peer? Somebody who knows your character, right? So you could get a fair trial in a real court. Like I said, these are administrative hearings. They have no jurisdiction over you. They are doing business hiding behind the executive branch of government. They are not even government. As a matter of fact, there are case laws, for example, United States versus Burr, where the Supreme Court of the United States stated clearly that when government descends to the level of a business corporation, it's entitled to the same burden. In other words, it can be sued just like any other private citizen. Okay? Very important to know that. These are not courts. Okay? If it was a real court, it will have a real judge. They will follow the Constitution. These people will have the oath of office to the Constitution. They will honor them. They will. They won't be in an executive department. It will be in a judicial department, which the two are totally different. And you'll have a trial by jury. They cannot remove your offspring without and permanently adopt them out without a trial by jury. The reason why they deny the trial by jury and the court system is because they are doing it for profit. They violate your right for profit. Okay, you cannot get any justice in these kangaroo court, which are known as sham proceedings. There's no justice. It's impossible. As a matter of fact, when these so-called judges, hearing officers, are administrating in these so-called courts, there are case law that states that once they're enforcing statutes and codes, which they do, they are not representing the government. That's number one. And number two, they are now working for the agency that you're going against. So think about that. You're sitting before a man or a woman trying to get justice, whereas this man and woman is working for the same agency that's trying to destroy your family. Unbelievable. So like I said, if you need help, contact us. We're expert at this at Bentzedek, Bentora, and we'll help you. Like I said, you just got to know your rights and know how to fight. All right? Shalom.